Welcome to the Plett podcast. This is basically an excuse for me to sit down and have a conversation with people that I find interesting. And joining me today are four very special guests. We have Victoria Exconde, Kenton Dyck, Erna Peters, and Chuck Fefchak. These are the four lead actors for the TV show that we made, Maria and the Mennos. Victoria played Maria, Kenton played Nate, Erna played Sarah, and Chuck played Hank. And I was one of the co-creators of the show, also the lead writer and the showrunner.
And director sometimes.
And I directed a few episodes, yes. Welcome here, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's dive in. Maria and the Mennos, when was the first time you guys heard about this show?
You were probably first.
Yes, because one of the co-writers texted me and told me that every time she writes something dialogue for Hank, she heard my voice. So that would have been in January of 22? Yeah.
Yeah, 2022?
January 2022. And I didn't know what the heck she was talking about, so I'm really able to disregard stuff that I don't care about. And I didn't actually hear about the show, would have been, I guess, April, May, June-ish, when auditions started to be posted.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And I heard about it on CHVN when I heard you and...
radio station.
Yeah, when you and Tina were interviewed.
Tina Fair-Kaler is another one of the co-creators, yeah.
So I heard about it then, but I thought, oh, well, that's happening in Winkler, And then I didn't even hear about auditions until friends of mine kept passing me auditions. Erna, try out for this. Erna, have you heard of this? Erna, 4 people sent me the audition, and finally I'm like, oh, what could it hurt?
And then you decided to audition.
Yeah.
What?
Then you had to work full time, 2.5 months.
Did you guys, when did you make the decision to audition for the show, having heard of it?
Well, I heard it it would have been around the same time, Chuck, when auditions were posted.
Yeah.
Because I've interviewed you in the past.
Yes.
For a number of your other film productions.
Yes.
And so I saw the auditions and I thought it was really interesting and a really cool opportunity.
Yeah.
I have always wanted to be in a sitcom specifically. Yeah. So then it was like, well, I'll get Paul in on my radio show.
Yeah.
This was like a really nice way of testing the waters, because I could be like, I'll get him in, I'll ask him all of the questions that I have, and then at the end of that interview, which we did for my show, then it was like, well, I'm actually interested, I'm an actor myself, which I think took you, I don't think you knew anything about any of that stuff.
No.
So I was like, I do some of this stuff myself, and so and then I got some information for the audition, and I auditioned sent in my tape and everything. Had a friend help me with that. While I was on vacation in Canmore, I hit send with some friends, and then I had to take a headshot because I didn't have a headshot ready at all at that point in time. So I was like, I don't know, can you take this wall here? Can you just take a photo? So and then I sent it in and auditioned and got the stuff. So.
Whoa. No, I remember that interview.
Yeah.
Kenton had me on his show. And then after the interview was done, he was like, so I was thinking about maybe even auditioning for the show. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, do it. Local celebrity.
Yeah.
And then when you decide to audition, I was like, oh, I hope he's good.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I had no idea. What about you?
So I found out about it through Hazel.
Yes, Hazel Wallace, another one of the co-creators.
Mm-hmm. She emailed me personally being like, hey, we're having these auditions for the show. You should come out for whatever. I was like, I don't know. I've never done film before. But it was 2022, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was the year where I was really trying to get into the art thing. And I was like, I'm going to just say yes to everything that came away.
Wow.
So I was like, I'll do it. And then I pulled back. And I actually didn't officially audition till callbacks.
Yeah.
I came on
it was the 9th hour,
the last day. Yeah. And I was like, I was able to like squeeze in like a 2 o'clock randomly, and I was
Yeah.
like, hey, is it too late for me to come in? And then yeah, that's just how it happened.
That's wild.
That was really weird for me with because I think I was offered and cast before you, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Which kind of which was weird for me because I thought like Maria's gonna be like the first one, and everything was gonna be built around her. And so then I was cast, and then I was asked to come in.
That's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
But Victoria wasn't auditioning.
That's right. And then I came in for one of your callbacks to read with you, and it felt very much like I had already been offered the role, I think, or something along those lines. And then I was reading with you, feeling very nervous, being like, well, I mean, if they like her a lot and they don't like our chemistry, then they're just gonna recast me because you're so much more important to the show. So it was kind of a weird, but it was really good. We hit it off at that audition, I think.
And I think they had my role, like they had me selected already, but we didn't have a Hank. So
Yeah.
I remember coming back and doing reads with other audition
Hanks, yeah.
Other things.
My audition, which was like, if you were the 9th hour, I was like the 17th.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
I was
We
in,
didn't
I was
have
a
a Hank.
river in Africa. I was denial. I couldn't do this.
Yeah.
Take that time off. When we auditioned and you came in for the read-through,
Yeah,
that was the first time I'd met you,
right.
and that was the last scene that you and I ever did in the show.
That's right.
Are you serious?
For that last scene.
When I watched this one, I went, holy crap, that's the scene that I auditioned.
It wasn't the last scene in all the episodes, but it was the last scene that was taped.
It was
No,
the
I know
scene we did at
Yeah.
the wax center there,
Yeah.
where
In Winkler, yeah.
that was kind of an emotional.
That was the best. That was like one of
Yeah.
my favorite scenes you
Yeah,
guys
I
did.
know.
Oh, do you have videos of the audition?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
We should put them side by side.
Oh, yes. Honestly, that's so bad.
Because I was not a good audition. I never auditioned well.
You were amazing.
I suck! And you don't say that because he was like stomping. Okay?
I know. Well, he was like that for all of the auditions. I'm like, okay, did they like me or didn't they?
Both his and my time.
So here's my question for you about that, because I felt not the same, but I did feel like, and I mean, to be fair, every time I audition for anything, whatever, the casting directors are professional, and they're just they're. So is it because were you putting it on to try to be like, no, I'm gonna be somewhat neutral, or were you just like so in the zone of like thinking that you aren't really like? Here's the thing: if I'm auditioning people, I would be have such a hard time not being like, oh, you were so good, even if they weren't that great, and it would just be like, oh, I'd try to like, really make them. How was your thought process?
Well, I think for this show, because it was like it's the biggest thing I've ever done. I sort of thought like, this is gonna be, like, we need actors who can perform against like adversity, And I didn't want to create adversity, but I know that I can create an environment where like, what you did was amazing. Let's play. And I've done that a lot with actors before. And I just sort of thought like I just need to see what did they bring? What did they bring on their own? Are they 80% of the way there? And all of you guys were more than 80% of the way there.
You're very kind.
Yeah.
I felt like I was. No, I wasn't.
But I can see how, I can,
I had one ally in the whole.
Standing beef
The only
face.
person that I knew was Tina.
Yeah.
And who had been harping at me because they hadn't had a Hank.
Well, and it's helpful.
So they got down to the bottom of the barrel. Who's left? Chuck.
Yeah.
Let's get him again.
helpful
I mean,
and-
your name was constantly recurring.
I know.
We were, and I think it was that situation of like, we really want him. Is he gonna come, like, can he come all the way out here? Can he make, like, there's gonna be an expectation here.
Right.
That he needs to be able to come here for the audition, he needs to be able to come here for rehearsals, and then when we film the show, he needs to be able to come here and commit to this thing. So it's also a level of that kind of commitment that's required.
it was the whole.
I'm sorry I was such a jerk.
No, you weren't a jerk. You weren't anything. You were like, you were like
That's like the worst.
it was like one of the monoliths at Easter Island. There's so.
No, I didn't know anybody there either, and
Yeah.
there were a number of Sarahs auditioning.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I'm probably not what they're looking for.
There were some good folks that auditioned for everything, and it would have been great if we could have cast a lot more people, but we just needed this group, and you guys were best of the bunch.
Oh,
So you got the roles. How'd it feel when you got cast?
Oh, I walked around running into stuff for 2 days.
I was excited.
What? I have to take a leave of absence. I have to tell my family, who,
So nervous,
it wasn't even that. It was like complete, what have I just said yes to?
bewilderment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I got interviewed on the radio, I literally said, I spent 2 days just walking around running into things, because bam, oh, desk. Oh, wall. Because
Distracted.
Yeah.
my brain was trying to do my day-to-day work thing and live life, but the other half of my brain was, you don't have a clue what you're getting into.
Oh,
I guess
yeah.
you're nervous, eh?
Oh, man, and I had just retired. And
Yes.
so this was like, oh, now I'm going to be full-time. Like, yeah, but this will be fun. This will be really different. There won't be...
It was
It was just, but I was so nervous that first day, arriving to have makeup and hair done.
Yeah. What was so you got cast? What about no? Let's talk about that. You got cast. What was the rehearsal process like? How'd you guys like that?
Well, that was just Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
No, we didn't
Right.
really.
Yeah.
It wasn't really rehearsals, like not
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the
like-
theater sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know, done a lot of theater. So in that sense, like I didn't feel prepared. I wasn't sure.
Well,
Do
you
I
can't-
memorize the whole script? Do
Yeah.
I, you know?
Yeah.
You can't really, because it's just 13 episodes, and that was the thing that was so
Yeah.
weird about the rehearsal process, because again, a lot of theater and stuff, and so then it was kind of very weird, because it was like all you can do is get familiar with the thing, because you can't memorize 13 episodes.
Yeah.
You can't get everything down. You can't get all the beats down. But what you can do is get familiar with it. So it's just a different
Right.
system.
We couldn't even memorize the episode that was coming up next.
Yeah.
Because it was changing every day.
There is that.
That's
I tried to be 3 episodes ahead until
Right.
episode
Good
2,
job.
and I was like, screw it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fly by the seat of my pants, and
Yeah.
I think we all did.
yeah.
It
No.
was me memorizing the morning of while we were getting our hair and makeup done. I was like,
Something not doing it the night before, because
Do you remember that
he's
one
gonna
episode
send the blue
where we
screen.
had oh shoot, this is jumping way ahead, but do you remember that we had an episode where there was so much that was changed in the script, and Victoria and I didn't have much to do that day. I think we could have left early,
Yeah.
but we just kind of spent our time just rewriting all of the lines, because we were like, I don't want to reprint this. We should have reprinted it, because the entire script was just in the
4 or 5
margins.
pages that were different.
We just rewrote everything in the margins, where we should have
Yeah.
just reprinted it. And then
I remember that because I got the update and I went, none of that crap's fixed.
Yeah.
None of my scenes.
No, it did get intense.
No, but I want to know what you thought when you got a cast. Sorry, go on
Yeah.
a little bit.
No, go for it.
What did I do? I remember right after I got the call from Tina, I went, and then I called Robin Jordan. Robin Jordan's my husband. And I was like, he's at work. I was like, oh my God, he got it. And like, yeah, it was really exciting. But I was like, I don't know who I'm allowed to tell. So I was like,
Yeah.
just bottled up. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to shut up for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
A couple of
crazy.
guys that were still up for Hank, so.
No, yeah, we got
I-
it. Yeah.
I told my family, I told Aaron, I told Aaron's mom. In fact, that was the last text message that I ever sent to Aaron's mom.
Really?
Yeah, she passed away before we could get under
Oh,
production.
shucks, yeah.
So like the last thing I said, I got this role, but you can't tell anybody. So if I went to my phone, there's a picture of an emoji of her going.
Whoa.
So that's kind of wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 2 or 3 days until you guys told everybody, okay, we
Yeah.
cast this.
Yeah.
That was kind of tough because you're wanting to
I know,
explore.
I was
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and we wanted to share it as well. I mean, we're
sure.
excited about who we have. Yeah.
I was very excited as well, very excited. But then also, there was kind of this weird, like, and I think I've had this with a few different things where if you get a new job or something like that, where it really is like very excited, and then all of a sudden I'm having to tell work that I needed to take time off, which I was really nervous about. I wasn't sure if that was going to be a possibility, but I really wanted to do it nonetheless. I think I put you guys through the ringer a little bit by waiting to tell you full confirmation, only because I wanted to make sure that I had, like, I was going to take it. I think I was going to probably take it, whatever the case may be, but I needed to, like, at least respect my workplace by letting them, you know, work through what was available.
It's a big commitment.
It's a big commitment.
Like 2.5.
So that was like, it was like really
months,
excited and then nervous to get all of that out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, and then once that was out of the way, and once that was all figured out with work, and they were super great about it.
Yeah.
Then it was just back to excitement.
I think what I liked, we had one day before filming where we all met, and we did read through like the episodes, and like a bunch of the cast members were there. That was like really exciting to see. That like
Saturday.
Yeah.
Church.
Yeah.
That was when you were there.
Oh, I probably should have been there.
We did.
Oh, you were.
We did it. We had a big circle in the church with chairs and everything.
I do remember
And we
that.
read. We read the one with Jarrell.
Yes,
Right.
episode
It
11.
was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And that was also, there was kind of some revelations during that day, just to be able to see everybody reading face to face and be like, oh, there's some
chemistry.
there's some jokes, and also that would have been an opportunity to like sort of like you want to rewrite, add stuff to make. Yeah.
Homer's so
Homer's
funny.
Homer just cracked me up that day. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that scene is going to be funny.
Me too.
And it
Once-
That was hilarious.
Once he
Yeah.
gets to set, he's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
And
So
I got a text from Tina after I was cast, before I could say anything. Well, Kenton Dyck, he's going to play your son.
Oh, that's right, because I got a text
So
from
I
you.
texted
you knew
your
each
sister.
other.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've done a couple of shows
Yeah.
together. So I texted, I need Kenton's number. Why? Well, because I'm going to be his dad. Silence on the phone. Really? Yes, I need a cell phone. So I texted you. I think you were probably at work.
Yeah, I was for sure.
Who is this?
That's right.
Spam.
Yeah.
So, day one of filming, it was like January 1st, January 3rd,
January 3rd.
2023.
The infamous fertilizer episode.
What was it? What was it like?
First one?
Yeah,
Oh.
that was day one.
Oh.
What stank you so zura?
Nushed!
What was it like to walk on set for the first time?
Nobody knew nothing. No, I didn't know these people. I didn't know you. I didn't know the crew. I didn't know the house. I didn't know the blocking. Okay, let's just throw this up against the wall and see
Yeah.
what sticks.
I-
It was very overwhelming, but nervous overwhelming. Like,
Yeah.
you did. And I remember after the infamous fertilizer, I went, I'm so sorry, Paul. I wasted like an hour of our time. And you were like, oh, don't worry about it. Oh, okay, well, I hope that's the last big screw up I did. And I think it was. But that was terrible. Took a long time to do that.
It's all part of it. There's this bit where you have to spill a jar of water on yourself, and it was a bit of
Is that the
blocking.
one where
I was-
Lauren had to dry your pants?
No, my shirt.
Oh, your shirt.
Because I could only have one shirt and it had to match up for continuity. So I'm
Between each-
I'm Bert, that comedian, bare-chested Bert, standing in a sub-zero garage
Right, sure.
with a microphone stuck to my chest hair. Nobody touch me.
First day.
Oh, I was so nervous. Like you, I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
I'd never been, in front of a camera before. It just always been on stage. So it was like, oh, now move this way, now move this way. And I'm like, oh, I was very nervous.
Yeah.
And
And we blew the sound man's ears off because all of us project.
yeah, we kept being
Chuck,
so loud.
Chuck, you gotta
You were
bring
really
it
loud.
down. If that's a 10, I want a 1.
Yeah,
I can't talk in a 1.
Yeah.
Also,
that's right.
our like set etiquette, not what it's supposed to be. I know that much.
No, that's the truth.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But, sorry, continue.
Oh no, it's cool.
No, what was your first day?
It was exciting, nerve-wracking, but really exciting. I'm trying to remember. All I remember was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right?
Because, like, I've never been on set before and, like, how the order of things would work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Like, I wasn't sure how we'd go through everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was surprised that we didn't film things in order. So we were doing
Oh, yeah.
we were doing all the scenes in the kitchen first.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't like, you know.
Yeah, I remember memorizing the
Yeah.
script, like, chronologically, and you're
Right.
like, oh, yeah, we can't do that anymore.
No, it was, that surprised me, and I just felt it was so exciting because there was the green room, that's where you have to be quiet. There was snacks, you know, when you were not on camera. You
Yeah.
have some
Green
snacks.
room, yeah.
You know, it was just, everything was so, I thought it was so professional.
I think the same thing. I felt like it was like not a first date camp, but it kind of felt like that. Like it was very exciting and very nerve-wracking and very very new. But it felt like the beginning of an adventure, where it was like everything was so fun and new and exciting. Like all of the little things were exciting. Even you know going up and getting makeup done and
Yes.
and you know chatting with Lauren and getting all that stuff done with costumes. It was everything kind of felt really fun, and I look back on it because early on I felt like we were all new to it, but it felt like everybody else knew what they were doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, I think you and Alex, ADC, you know, you guys have
cinematographer,
worked,
yeah.
cinematographer. You guys have worked on maybe a few more projects than most of the people there. But then finding out later and looking back on it, knowing that like Kira also was kind of pulling it out of her ass, trying to figure it out as she went along, and Kiana was doing the same thing, and everybody was kind of learning it together, but everybody was doing their best to pretend like they knew what they were doing. And so I thought that everybody else knew exactly what they were doing, and we were just the new ones.
Right.
But then looking back, I'm like, no, there was like that nervous energy from most everybody.
Yeah.
But in a fun way. I think it was in a fun way. It felt like an adventure. That's what I'm saying. It felt like an adventure.
10 weeks go by.
Yeah.
I cannot, but
fast.
maybe somebody in the stable. Do you ever remember any conflicts on set?
I remember a few, but they
Really?
weren't. Yeah.
I don't remember any.
But it was like
Maybe you guys just talked about me
we're
behind
more
my
adept.
back.
Yeah. You were the conflict.
I
No.
used to be in
Always. No, there was some whatever, but I think like the way that I look at it, like I thought we got along very well.
Yes.
Oh.
As a whole, I thought it was very good. And anytime you're going to work with anybody for 10 weeks, they're like, you can't expect it to be everybody's having a super fun time all the time.
No.
It's too long a time for that.
It was work.
Like no, it's work. So any time that you do anything for 10 weeks, you're not gonna like you go on vacation for 10 weeks, and there's gonna be some moments of
Days of rain.
days of rain, days of tenseness. But I thought we got along very well. And like going back to what you were saying and talking about, you know, not having perfect etiquette. Agreed. For sure we didn't. But I think we had very fun. Like
Yeah.
my thought process, and maybe this is wrong. Maybe Paul hated this. My thought process was a little bit more like, look, if we're all having a lot of fun, that's probably going to come through a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we're not having fun on set, how are we going to make
Right.
a comedy?
Right.
Yeah.
So like, I want to have good etiquette, but I don't want good etiquette to get in the way of good atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't even know what good etiquette to this day is.
A little bit, right?
When you took me on,
You didn't get it when they were trying to explain it.
no.
Sorry, what were you? Because you
wasn't
said that.
listening.
What are the things that stick out?
Oh, about our
Etiquette,
etiquette.
yeah.
It was like I love to sing, like singing on set, like music, or like just like talking the whole time, like in between takes was
Yeah.
being in
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Kira.
and like. You know, I can
Yeah.
tell Alex is trying to get things done, but like we're just like goofing off. I was like, I felt really bad after. I was like, oh, I didn't know, sorry.
And then we're busy talking so that the crew can't discuss things, right?
Yes.
Because we were,
Yeah.
Kind of loud. I was like, oh
yeah.
No, for sure,
That's what you get when
your
you're a bunch of
job,
theater geeks.
but you're like Yeah, the job of the actors in a comedy show is to just be having fun, you know, the whole time. I'll tell you what though, on day one, I was so nervous.
Oh yeah, I want to know your perspective on day one. So much more than ours.
It was like I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I don't know how to get what we need, you know? And everyone is gonna think that I do. So I'm gonna have to.
you had a lot of pressure.
I'm gonna have to fake it. I'm gonna have to go in and like.
So there were 5 actors on set.
I'm gonna have to go in and like make a speech about how we're embarking on this grand adventure and we're gonna do this amazing thing, and I have no idea.
Oh,
And
you were so good.
but it's that thing which you guys all did, everybody did. You dive in the deep end, and then you just start flailing about and figure out how to swim. You know, like we went back and reshot a lot of that stuff from day one.
Yeah, but
like
yeah.
later on, because
Right.
the job is not. It's like the job's not to do it perfectly. The job is just to get it across the finish line, you know, and that's when you figure out like, okay, that's what we have to deal with. But that first day was, yeah, that was a doozy. Yeah.
And it went over time in a way. Like, well, I mean, we just had a rough timeline of how things were supposed to go. Was it the first day that we went a bit late?
We went long the first couple of days.
Okay.
Because we wanted to do 8-hour days. We wanted to have nice
Right.
days. So then there was a lot of learning
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And another thing that I was so amazed at that I had no idea about everything that happens in the background. The windows get blacked out, you know, curtains have to be put up,
Yeah.
the lights have to be set just so. That was really
It's so
fun to
it's
see.
so wild the amount of work that goes into making something just look normal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just like this is
And
now
we
going to
didn't have
be
to do any of that.
No.
I was gonna say, like, one of the things, like, I was like, oh, do you want me to help with anything? And they're like, no, you're an actor. Just like, I was like, but I want to help.
No, hands off,
Paul
right?
wanted an apple box moved. Can somebody move this apple box? I'm like, I'm standing next to him. I just reach down. This one? And you can't do that. I know we were a non-union set, but
Yeah.
you do that as a union set, I've been told.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Lucy, our I guess set design.
Artistic designer.
art director, yeah.
There was a scene that we were doing a coffee thing. I'm drinking a cup of coffee and you 3 are talking in the kitchen. And I'm at the end of it. Okay, that's it. Let's move in. So I dump my coffee and I'm rinsing out the cup. And Lucy says, "Let me do my damn job." Shit, I'm sorry. Like when you do theater,
Yeah.
you
Especially
there-
non-professional. Like we're
Yeah,
doing a lot of
we-
community
You're also the
stuff.
crew. Yeah.
You're
We're
everything.
moving set, we're doing
Yeah.
our own
Yeah.
makeup, we're making sure our costumes done. We didn't have to
Yeah.
or get to touch any of that. Like
Yeah.
we go into the dressing room and Lauren had it, there's your costume for that.
Yeah.
And then you'd finish your set, you'd have lunch, and then, okay, I got a costume change, you go upstairs, there it is.
Yeah.
It's laid out, she had it all.
Well, I mean, what we did with the show as well was like I directed the first 2 episodes and the last 2, but we wanted to get a machine up and running that could film the show, right? And your job was to be the actors, to be in front, to have fun, to not onboard any stress.
Right.
And then the crew's job was to like figure out their roles. How can we get everything done and not need and allow the directors, because we had a revolving door of directors.
Right.
So how do you figure out how to get that machine up and running right away?
And
So-
make sure that Kenton's not shining on it.
So we did. The shoot was like 2 and a bit months, right? How many weeks? It was
10
like
weeks.
10 weeks.
10 weeks, yeah. 2.5 months.
What?
Yeah.
What was it like to film a 13 episodes of a TV show?
In a play, you've got the arc, and so when you're in that middle of like buttoning it up and getting everything set, you kind of lose sight of what's really funny about the show,
Yeah.
and you're just trying to nail everything down, and then you sometimes put it on stage and you're like, oh yeah, that was a joke. Oh, this show's really funny. Remember when we read it? We were all howling? Yeah, the audience is getting that for the first time now, and we've done all the work to make it every beat as good as it can be.
Right.
Or as good as we can get it anyways.
Yeah.
This process is only the discovery, and then you move on.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. Because like you spend every minute in the figuring out what works for the scene, and then once you've figured out what works for the scene, you move in, you do the tight shots, and then you move on to the next scene, and you figure out what works in that scene. And that's like my favorite part of rehearsal. It's basically like you don't ever get the high of putting it on in front of an audience. You don't ever get that high of like the audience giving you all the feedback, but you only get to do the really fun part of rehearsal, which is really fun for me. I think that's really an
But when
enjoyable
you
time.
screw up and it's not caught, it's forever.
Yeah.
Nah, no more junk food till you lose some weight. That line never made it because I forgot it. On 7 or 8 takes, that line never made it. And
that's
I
funny.
worked to sound like her with that thick Mexican accent that she had. And I forgot. I mean, the scene itself looks funny with me fighting with my belt and I throw it down on the bed and then, okay, but nah, hein.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
Never happened.
you're right.
Yeah.
It's you build that and you make the crescendo comes almost immediately and then it's done.
And then it's done.
And the magic words, there's 2 sets of magic words. You remember them? Moving in, moving on.
Well, I think it was the most stressful, at least with Orlando, when it was 1 takes, and I was like, are we sure? Are we sure?
I used to like Clint Eastwood, right? Shouldn't we take another take? Yeah, if you want to waste somebody's time.
Well, and being a stage actor, you
Orlando was our exec producer, and he directed 2 episodes.
Yeah.
yeah, and being a stage actor, you want the feedback from the director. Oh, I need you to punch that line up a bit more, or hold back here a little
Maybe
bit.
really were
and
that
and then he would say, "Moving on," and I was like, "Wait a minute, I don't think I did that as good as I could," or.
But also, I will say this. So there is a little bit of that, and Alex Decibel Cusa, our cinematographer, he did push for a few more takes often,
Yes.
which thank you to him. But also, there's something that I like when I'm shooting myself in a self tape for an audition. I often go like, oh, that wasn't quite right, and then I do it again, and then I do it again, and then I do it again. And then I look at all of them after, and I'm like, the first one was fine. It was great. And it's like, I actually didn't need to. I was stressing. And then by the time I got to the end, I actually perfected it to the point where it looked unnatural. And I was like, oh, shoot. Never mind. Maybe I actually do need to trust it and just be like, yeah, fine. It's all good.
How did you guys find the direct comparison from doing stage, and suddenly we're doing film? Did you find it more difficult? Forget about the unfamiliarity of not knowing the house, not knowing the set, or the process. Just to do the lines. Did you not find it way easier? Because I always have described theater as it's doing trapeze.
Projected,
Doing trapeze with no net. Because on live stage,
Yes.
if you blow a line, if you blow an entrance, you're falling splat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The magic word in that house was cut. Let's reset that. No harm.
It was freeing.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
definitely
Yeah.
freeing.
Nothing but
Yeah.
net.
Yeah.
Nothing but net.
Yeah.
For me, it was just actually acting it was fine. It was the atmosphere that we had, in the bedroom scenes. That room is small, and we're in a bed, and then there's 7 other people there, and you're like, yep. Hey.
It's comfy being in a bed with
Yeah.
somebody that you barely know.
Yeah.
8 other people in the room.
The camera's like this, and you're like,
And I think that affected how I watched the show, because when there was that bathroom scene, I was
oh, you can think of the Alex in the
I
bathroom
know
like
them in
this.
the bath, that they were there just filming. Here I'm going like this, but they're filming in that small space. And I'm like,
What year were you born?
Hey, no age jokes.
yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, it was then when I was watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, you don't know the people that are standing right behind that, Oh.
I think I found it harder.
Did you really?
Because I think one of the issues is, I think I'm pretty comfortable in a stage setting,
I would say so.
and I think what I do well in stage is that you're acting to the back of the audience, so you're projecting to the back of the audience, all of your emotions, everything has to be projected as well. And so that's really easy is to just like, I think in the film setting it was like, oh, how do I bring it down and be funny and big? Because it is still a sitcom, so you want to have those big moments without being like cartoony.
Right.
And that was the thing I watched for in watching the show was like, oh, that looks so cartoony and gross. Where it was like that was overacting or whatever. And then the moments where I'd be like, oh, where I would be watching myself going, oh, I love that. Where I somehow found the size right. And I think it took me until episode like 5 or 6 to find the size right. And I think the first few episodes I find I have a hard time watching because I think I look cartoony. And so that was hard for me. You?
It took me a full 2 weeks to dial it back.
Well, that's right. And
Chuck, less is more.
yeah, and so that was hard. And so for me, I think it was harder because it was like, it just had to be more natural.
Yeah.
And that was harder.
But like fake as well.
Yeah.
It's like natural, but also like
it's just
you're
finding a
playing
different
character.
balance than
Yeah.
you do on stage.
You guys have any favorite moments on set?
Yeah, the smoothie bit.
Oh yeah. Episode 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so funny, and I want to watch those bloopers. And the thing is, none of us could laugh, so you guys were just going through it. Oh, it was so.
What's the
funny.
setup? What happened?
I have a smoothie. I'm on a diet.
Yeah.
And
It's a super green,
Super
sludgy.
green.
Super thick.
It's just gross.
Yeah.
And what has she got me drinking? And then he comes in. And is that a smoothie? I'm like, ooh, that looks bad. Oh, and I want to get rid of it. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it tastes good. Yeah, you have it. I'll make myself another one. So he has some, and he's got that piece of asparagus.
Just like
piece of
dangling
asparagus.
it.
Well, that's
Finish
really
it.
good. Then she drinks it, and then she says, "Oh, wait, good for you." And I don't know what she's talking about until I look at the empty glass, and that smile is in the opening credits.
Yeah.
I look a little bit special needs in that. Like, Erin, my girlfriend, Erin says, "Why do they have that there? You just look like you're
Oh, I
taking a
love
short
that.
bus
Is
to school."
that is one of my favorite moments of you. That laugh. I feel like it's more just like it's like pure Chuck. Like it's so good.
Yeah,
It's just
Hank
like
really was
but you
nothing
can't
departure
you
from
can't
the-
like I feel like you can't watch that shot of you and not laugh as well.
I do every time.
You know? Like not laughing at you, laughing like you're inviting us into the humor you're feeling.
Right.
You know?
I think the thing that is so funny about that scene because Lucy made the smoothie.
Yeah.
And the first attempt at the smoothie, she made it, and then we let it sit for a bit, and then we were pouring. It's the first attempt at it was this thick layer of spinach on top of this layer of juice. So like trying to pour it was like and boom. and so it was an impossible thing to do. And then you had to take a sip, and it was literally like, how do you take a sip of this thing? Because it's just a chunk. Yeah, it was biting. It was literally like
Ice cream for
because you couldn't. And so we adjusted the smoothie. But what's really funny about that scene, watching the scene in the show is like it's a funny scene, but like it does not capture remotely the level of comedy that was happening on set in that bit because we had so many takes and so many bad like stuff is sticking to my face or like I'm trying to take a sip and it's just like I can't even
I can't take the glass of it.
you know and so it was like it's really funny to watch because it's like I'm watching that scene going that was a little bit of a letdown because it was so funny on set.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was funny in the scene. It's just like what was actually happening was so great.
That's like the when Alejandro comes into my garage and finds all my books and then he and I have
Right.
the
Yes.
that process. Those 3 scenes are what? 4 minutes in the
Yeah.
entire episode?
Yeah.
That was 2 hours of gut busting because the guy's fantastic.
Yeah.
But he don't know how to memorize lines. and when we watched that episode at the church, at the screening, Kira happened to be sitting next to me. She goes, "Do you know how long that took?" Yeah, I could ballpark it. Like, it just took forever. And every scene, every take was so funny, but none of them were the same. Because he just would say something else. Jeez, come on, man. So when there's moments where I'm smiling and laughing
Yeah.
at Alejandro, that's for real. I am laughing at Elmer because he's so dang funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
But that was a process, an exhausting process. That doesn't like the spinach smoothie scene doesn't translate. You don't see that.
Yeah.
Our last scene at the whack.
I was so sad that day.
Well, everybody was sad because it was wrapping up filming, was it?
Yeah.
It was the second last day, but it was our last.
It was our
day.
last scene together.
And when we finished that, and there was, you guys didn't see it on TV, but we were very emotional. It didn't look as emotional as it felt that day.
No, it sure didn't.
I think it came across very well, though.
It did.
I think it came across incredible.
But that first take that we took, that's when, and I look around behind the light filter, and you are losing it.
Everybody's
You are
crying.
And then she said, "We have to do that 8 more times."
It was a fun day on set, though, because we had you guys were in front of the camera doing probably the most emotional scene in the show.
One of them.
I think, like the most, it was the most like heartfult, touching moment in the show.
The only other
probably.
one would have been the one where I was telling you how proud I was because
Yeah.
I sold the
Right.
unicorny card.
Yeah, that was fun as well. Nice. But that scene was so emotional, and then everyone behind it, because it was our last shot in that building. It was the last scene for you two. There's a whole bunch of things going on. Everybody was watching it like, in a way, like normally it's like everybody's just kind of doing their thing. And maybe I'm going to duck out and I'm not needed anymore, so I'm going to go home. And I wasn't needed at that point. But like everybody's kind of watching it. It was just a really nice moment. We were behind the camera. It was just as emotional and just as like touching as it was in front. And it was the scene that you were doing matched up with how everybody was feeling.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
I
I
was
think
a blinking mess.
I think
Like,
that's why.
That was a mess when it was done.
Yeah.
I just want to get out of here now.
Other favorite moments on set?
I have two.
Yeah.
One of them, I think, is the first moment on set. Like when we were, I think the first thing we shot was at the dinner table.
No, we started with the opening scene.
Opening.
You're right.
Walking in with the boxes.
Walking in
Yeah.
with boxes.
That's right. Okay. Then I'll go a little ways forward. I think it was still on first day though. It is at the dinner table, and it was while everybody is attempting to be as. It felt so cool to be on a set, and it felt so professional, and it was. That's exactly what it was. But now looking back, it's funny because I know everybody was attempting to feel to do it as professionally as they could. But you had Kira, and
Alex was a
Kiana.
professional.
Everyone
else is faking it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Kira and Kiana sitting there doing, Kira's managing the set and Kiana's scripting and making sure everything is continuous and everything is going. And then we're all doing our thing, and it just felt like, oh, this is happening. It was such a fun moment. It was also nerve-wracking, but it was also like super fun. And then my second favorite moment.
You felt like the hum.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
the hum.
And then my second favorite moment, favorite, I don't even know there's so many more. I had so much fun. We did a lot of singing and dancing between takes and whatnot, and there was a lot of fun physical comedy bits. There was a lot of fun that we did. But one of my favorite moments is in the Crokinole episode. There was like 2 or 3, but there was one in which it was like a big, we were like, you're gonna just get a shot.
And you made
You're
it.
gonna get it.
Yeah.
And was it first try?
It was the final shot of the day.
Yeah, it was the final shot of the day, and we're like, we need to get this, and what's all we need to do is getting you, flick it into get a cookie, that's it, that's all we need. And you did it, and we all just held our breath until someone said cut, and then it was just an eruption of emotion. It was like such a fun moment.
It was just funny because like every time I had to, it was Chuck's fingers. But this one,
watching it. I did that. I did that.
I was like,
But this one had to be you.
This one had to be you, and you
And I was like-
nailed it.
didn't make a single one that whole day.
Yeah.
But then when it mattered, and then it was just like it was just such an interesting thing because we knew we had to save the take, so it was like
Pause. Cut.
it was just such a fun explosion.
Yeah.
There were so many great moments on set, but that one just stands out.
Yeah.
Other fun moments?
I like the moment where I was behind the fridge door when you were watching in the fridge.
What are you doing?
What are you
Daisy?
doing?
Oh, the reveal that he like gets freaked out.
I
Yeah,
like that moment.
that really read on camera.
It
well,
did
too. It was
actually.
a
It
fun.
was
Yeah.
funny when you watch. Oh yeah, that did work.
Yeah.
I guess Paul knew what he was doing.
I'm lucky.
Oh
sometimes.
yeah, but there were so many good moments. The donuts, you know, the shower scene. There were so many good
Trooper
moments.
with the donuts, man.
Yeah.
You took it right in
Yeah.
the mug.
I understand. I thought it was funny because it was all like, you know, how do we do this? And it's just like, just hit me in the face.
Do it for real.
Do it.
Are
Like,
you okay if
just
it hits you
hit
in the
me
face?
in the face. I think that'll do the trick. I think. But no, it was a lot of fun. The shower scene, I really enjoyed.
I remember when we heard that. I heard some of those notes coming in that like Kenton just wants him to like hit him in the face, and I was just like, don't let that happen. I said it to like I think the directors or other people on set, just like I know he wants to do that, but just like we got to get through this show. Like let's not, you know.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but we just hit him in the face.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did a lot of great physical comedy. But also,
You did a lot. You felt a lot.
I know I did. In fact, at
You
one
got
point,
hit a lot. You
Yeah.
threw up a lot.
Yeah, you were so squeamish all the time. Yeah.
My sister, when she was watching, she's like, "Why is he like that all the time?"
that's fair.
I was like, "Why is he always sick?"
I was telling as well. I was like, well, first 4 episodes, I remember going, I think I just puked in this show.
I caught a piece of Gary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
other favorite moments?
Watching, my favorite moment probably was the Christmas montage. I'm just watching it. I was like, it was really,
that was very
it was
nice.
really nice.
And Orlando said we got some really good montage footage.
Yeah, the montages in the Christmas episode were really
I don't know if you guys remember, like we were just jerking around through that, like
I think they just
because
set the
we're
camera
not
on
gonna
for,
have
like-
any audio, so we were saying whatever we wanted,
Yeah.
and getting genuine reaction laughs
Yeah.
from each other
Yeah.
based on nothing in the script.
Yeah.
That was, and it does show very well. It looked like
Yeah.
we're actually having a ball. Well, we were having fun. But
Yeah.
Those were also really weird scenes to shoot. I think Christmas episode was one of the weirdest because it was all nighttime. We did an entire day where where all of the windows were blacked out.
Oh yes.
Right.
So like we got to work and it was like February. So
Yeah.
like the sun was just coming up as you're walking into the house. And then we spent the entire day with the windows blacked
Yeah,
out
that's
in
right.
the house.
Yeah.
And then you leave and it's getting dark.
Yeah.
So it was the weirdest. I'll take some as well.
Vitamin
It was the weirdest, like, well, it kind of felt like we were living in this weird,
Thanks.
Twilight Zone
Yeah.
situation. That's lots.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. But it was really fun. I think that was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite overall episodes to film, just because I just felt like we were in a zone, and it felt like a really fun shoot. It was just the 4 of us, which I love having guests. It was always fun to have guests, but then it was also something about that episode where it was just like comfortable, where we were just playing with each other. We did a couple of montages that were really fun, so it felt comfortable, which was fun.
I got texts from Tracy and Cam from the snow shoveling scene from that episode.
Oh
Because
yeah.
we didn't have a snow shovel.
No, yeah.
So we created one
yeah.
with a leaf blower
Yeah.
and I don't know, 4 or 5 guys just throwing snow up
That
in the air,
was-
pelting me in the face.
That was a scene that I said to my family, you don't know what's going on.
The amount of times I was watching with my family, like, "Oh, you know what's happening?"
Yeah.
Like I'd pause it and be like,
Were you body checking you into the snow in that episode? Was that an episode?
"It was a
That was
Different one.
a different one.
Yeah.
That was it's freezing outside.
Oh yeah.
The karaoke episode. The way it had scheduled out, I was in the garage with Alejandro.
That had so many moving pieces that
Yeah.
episode.
And I had been offset because I was finished really early Friday, and I came and I was not involved because that was the only 4-day shoot that we had.
For a single
So
episode, yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was all karaoke, and so I showed up Thursday, which would have been the last day of the shoot, to do the scene in the garage, the scene where he calls me hanky or offers me a hanky, and then I come out to see you singing at the end. That all happened in
Yeah.
one day. But I walked into that house on Thursday morning for the first. There's 63 people in this house,
so much.
and I don't know any of them.
Right,
Yeah.
all the
There's all these
extras.
extras,
Yeah.
and they're,
Yeah.
and, they're
Yeah.
and like the Filipino people are just so happy all the time. Hey, Chuck, how are you? I don't know who you are. I mean, you know who they are in
Yeah.
about 15 minutes because
They're
that's
so,
just,
It
yeah.
was such a fun
that
time.
set was
Yeah.
just
It was
Tight.
busy.
Yeah.
It was busy in there.
first day on set. Here's a Christmas ornament.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't do
Yeah.
that.
Yes,
That
you
was
should.
Was that on set or was
It
that?
was the first day.
for him. I
You
think.
guys had met someplace at
Yeah.
the Christmas ornament
Okay.
Yeah.
prior to Christmas, and I walked in on
Oh.
January
I don't think-
3rd.
Was it prior to Christmas? I think I got it right after Christmas and I
Yeah.
put it up on my training.
Yeah.
But it was such a nice.
Yeah.
Hit the tree, I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
So,
Yeah.
so we finished filming the show.
Mhm.
Then we went away and edited it, and you guys didn't see anything for a long time.
long
and
time.
then
Yeah,
the show,
so long.
then the show premiered, and now you've watched. And you started watching the show. What was it like to watch the show? Sort of like a year.
Exactly a
Yeah.
year.
Day.
Exactly
Exactly.
a year.
What was it like? What was it like to watch it?
I went to my cupboard.
Mm-hmm.
I put 2 cubes in a glass and poured seriously about 2 ounces of the best scotch that I've ever drank, and I just sat there and I sipped it, and Aaron was there, and I said, if you want something, I'll make you something, but I am not watching this premiere without a glass of Delwyn. And because it was the first episode, and because we'd done so much theater, I was really hypercritical of myself.
Oh yeah. Oh, very much so.
That just
Yeah, me too.
and then that was the day that we met. Really, I mean, aside from the one Saturday read through and the Zoom meetings, that was the day that we met. Certainly, it was the first day I walked into the house. I think some of you had.
I've been to that one time
Yeah.
before
One
that.
time, yeah.
I didn't even know if when I
No,
was driving
I
in the
did not.
driveway if it was in the right.
And I think it was January 1st. I think it was like 2 days before we
Yes,
shot.
it was, and I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So the first episode, I mean, after that, okay, I can watch the rest of it. And anybody that has asked me, muscle through the first 2 episodes, because they're the first 2. We just knew each other and the process. After I watched the first one, okay, it's going to get better, and it did, and it's like we were saying earlier. Episode 5, episode 6, you drop into it. Okay, we've got this. This is our characters are built.
What was your watching experience like?
Um,
Other than wearing costumes from every.
wearing the costume
Did you
from
see
each
that?
episode.
Victoria basically wore a costume that she wore in every episode
That's
while watching
right.
every
That's
episode.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Which,
So
by the way, look at what I'm wearing today.
I
I did notice the shirt and
No, I was about to wear my first episode
Yeah.
shirt. I was like, no, I shouldn't do that.
I'm not going to wear the Marie the Mennos shirt, but I will wear something from
Yeah,
the show.
I thought about it, and I was like, no.
Sorry, continue.
But yeah, no, I had a watch party every week with some family, some friends that wanted to come over. And that very first episode, my basement was filled with people. But before our little watch party on the premiere, like, I've seen the episode before at, like, bits from
Yeah.
the Fascination
Premiere.
Festival. We
Yeah.
watched it a little bit beforehand. So I was like, at least I know what I'm getting into. But even then, with all the people around, I found myself watching it like this. I'm like,
so critical of
Yeah.
ourselves.
so bad, it was so bad. But I was like,
Yeah.
who hired this girl? But no, and then, but like weekly, it just it kept getting better, and like my mom's coworkers love it. Like Jez's coworker is like, I'm so sad that it's over. Is there gonna be a season 2? I was like, but I'm glad you like it. You should watch it again. But yeah, it was really fun, just like watching with my family and seeing their reactions and like giving them the scoop of how it all happened. But yeah.
I think I watched mostly just with Talon, my wife, so it was mostly just like I had a few people over sometimes, but it wasn't a giant watch party, which I felt more comfortable with. Watching with other people is great, but it's
Let's throw a
so much
spotlight on
more. It's so much. Whatever. Yeah, it just feels weird. But then also it gets better again. I think we had the exact same arc where it was like, and then there were moments where I'd be like, oh, I didn't like that. But then there was a lot of moments as the show went on where I was like, oh, I really like what I did there. That was nice. I feel good about that. That's really good. I like your characters the most.
Same.
By the end of the show, I was like, oh man, Hank and Sarah, they got it. This is so good. I ended up falling in love with you guys in a way that was like, I didn't know what to expect. But like I just loved watching you guys in this show. I want you to know that.
We did click.
Thank you.
You did. It was really good.
It felt.
It was really good.
We're both two fuddy-duddies.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
That was really fun.
Doing a little than I am.
No, but when I was watching it, I felt very self-critical. And I didn't, the same thing, I didn't always have a watch party, I didn't always watch it with somebody. But then a bunch of girlfriends, we got together and they watched the first 4 or 5 episodes. We did kind of a
little marathon.
A little marathon night. And it was really rewarding when I would hear them laugh at things that I was happy that they got it, or that, you know, that it was funny to somebody that wasn't there, you know, because we all had a great time making it. And having the fun there, but it was nice to hear them actually laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. They did find that funny, you know?
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah. It was nice having watch parties and having the instant validation of some parts. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So all 13 episodes of Maria and the Mennos is currently available on demand on Yes TV. There will be a link to the Yes TV website. You can check it out in the description for this video. Thank you.
It's over here.
Look under the video. It'll be under the video. Yeah.
It's over here. It's to this side.
I think. Thanks, guys, for obviously for agreeing to be in this show. For bringing everything that you had to offer to the entire process, to the rehearsal process, to the filming process, and then helping, sort of celebrate and share the show afterwards. And thanks for joining me today for a little conversation about Maria and the Mennos.
Yeah, it was so nice to see everybody.